why and how should you invest in private equity alternatives is the topic. And I'll briefly take you through all of this, in terms of what should you look at when you're evaluating unlisted equity or private equity, so to say. Yeah. So I think these are some of the pointers which I wanted to highlight in terms of what has been the global growth trend. So overall, we've seen, a lot of growth which has happened in alternate space. Obviously, because my fellow panelists, which were there before me in the previous panel, they've shown the kind of growth at a global level we've seen in the alternate space. It's expected again to continue to grow at 10%, reaching somewhere closer to say 30 trillion dollars by 2030. So, I mean, that's the kind of growth that we're expecting at a global level. What's happening in India? And like we spoke, I think in the Indian context also, there's been a phenomenal growth that we've seen in the alternate space. Alternate no more continues to remain alternate. PMS AIF industry also probably is expected to be somewhere closer to say 43 lakh crore by 2028. Now, why is this space interesting? Why is this space interesting? Why are investors choosing alternates? I think one clear reason is because sophisticated investors who have tried the listed equities, who've tried the traditional investment avenue, who've tried mutual funds, are also now looking for something which is beyond this. So that's one reason. Simultaneously, what does alternate provide us? I think it provides us the opportunity to create customized portfolios. I mean, something which cannot happen in a vehicle which is a pure play pooled vehicle. While AIFs are also pooled in vehicles, but through a co-investment route which is now being regulated by SEBI, there is opportunity wherein you can design customized solutions for investors. Like we spoke about real estate sector, Abhishek did mention about the real estate sector, how underrepresented that sector was in the overall scheme of things. So what happens when you participate through unlisted equity? Again, you get access to sectors which probably do not have representation in your regular index. So these companies which start small, get recognized by market, and then ultimately at some stage become the small cap champions and then form part of one of these indices. So that's the kind of journey which an investor can expect when you look at participating in unlisted alternatives. So these are just some of the factoids, if I can call it like that, which talk about how things have shaped up. So again, companies which would have, a market cap of closer to say 6,500 and above, how many such companies have got listed? In the last 5 years, there are 123 such companies which have got listed. What are the number of PE funded companies in India? And that number is really huge, 9.8 lakh. That's the kind of companies that are there. Similarly, what are the companies which are VC funded? Again, that number also continues to be huge. What have been the investments which have been made in the PE VC space? $39.3 billion in 2023. And what is again important is what is the amount which is expected to be raised over the next 3 years? That's $20 billion. So that's huge. Now, this is again a story which we talk about when we talk about, how, say, from a growth equity, when I'm calling it growth equity, I mean, these are companies which have had some years of operations, which are generating some kind of cash flow. So it's not like an idea. When we talk about growth equity, it's not an idea. It's reached that stage wherein it is having some scale. So growth equity to IPO, what's the kind of value creation that happens? And simply we've bucketed, I mean, it is nothing to say that 4 years mein return kam aayega. We've just bucketed some of the companies and their IPOs and we've looked at what has happened in each of these companies. So 0 to 2 years in some of these companies, that was the kind of median IRR which was generated. Similarly, in case of 2 to 4 years, these are the companies. And that's the kind of median IRR which was generated there. And so on and so forth. So that's the opportunity which lies specifically when you're participating in a growth equity space and you've identified it well. Again, backing assets and only concentrating till the IPO journey is not just enough. I think the choice of a good company that has been identified gets more clearer if the company continues to perform even after getting listed. So it's not like once it's listed, the journey stops. Look at BKG, what happened? This is one company which was listed, had a fantastic rental IPO, obviously continued to compound after that also. So, these are parameters. If you're backing good quality asset, compounding will happen till it gets recognized, even after it gets recognized. If it's a good quality business, it will continue to compound. It will continue to create that wealth for you. Now, how do you start the journey and select your fund manager? Fund/the manager who's looking at. I think the first and foremost thing there is you need to have clarity on what you're looking for your investors' allocation. Is it something which is like few basis point above, say, a fixed income category? Obviously, then you look at a very different kind of a fund. You look at maybe a performing credit fund to do that. Are you looking at a diversification within the equity space and the investor is risk averse, is okay with listed equities, but is okay to take that chance of investing at an N-1 stage, then this is the category for you. You start investing in growth equity / late stage or pre-IPO, whatever I can call it. Real estate, like I said, is a very different risk from that perspective. So real estate also you can have in a private equity format. But depending on where and what is the investor's horizon and appetite, this class has to be decided. There's of course a sector risk which is associated with that. So that's also there. Now, the second thing to note is, you will have to plan the liquidity in your client's portfolio when you're looking at these kind of funds. Because these funds essentially would be closed-ended in nature, and in that scheme of things, the liquidity is going to be very, very low. Or, because cash flows will go at various times and then you'll start getting payouts towards maybe 12 to 18 months before your fund matures. So liquidity continues to be low. So you'll have to really plan in terms of what percentage of an investor's allocation can be in this category given the long tenure nature. And typically we've seen 10-year funds also, we've seen smaller funds also. And the sweet spot generally for investors who are starting the journey in private equity has been anywhere between say 5 to 6 years. Now, what comes next? Next is you need to do a thorough due diligence. Now, due diligence, when you have to do due diligence on the fund manager and also at an organization level. So, specifically at an FM level, what is important is what is the pedigree that the FM has. Has he done similar kind of deals in the past? Has he invested in similar space in the past? What's been his overall track record in that space? That's something that you look at. Now, at an organization level, the things would be very different. Because at an organization level, you would want to check how serious the organization is on growing this business. So that's going to be another area to watch out for. Is it just one of the things that the organization has put it but is not focused on? Or is it something where the organization is clearly focused on delivering? So that's another thing when you do a thorough due diligence on this category. Now, having crossed all of these stages and reached a point wherein you're looking at, maybe choosing kaun sa growth equity fund, kaun sa late stage fund makes it to that place, what do you look at? This is my favorite point. First and foremost, what's the kind of DPI that the fund has delivered if there is a track record, if the company has been doing various kinds of funds in that particular space, what's the DPI? MOIC सब लोग बात करते हैं. MOIC सिर्फ paper return है. What matters is actually investor को कितना पैसा बना. Because when you show that kind of track record, when you show investor को कितना पैसा बना, that's when he would be interested, he or she would be interested to participate in that journey with you. So look at that. Is it just a paper return or is it just a real return? What the fund that you're evaluating or the AMC that you're evaluating has done it in its previous avatars. Very, very important. पैसा raise करना relatively difficult है, but पैसा raise एक बार हो जाएगा. Invest भी हो जाएगा. But पैसा वापस करना is the most important thing, I think. So that's where DPI comes into picture. Now, what's manager's track record? Like I said, you know, at an organization level, important है how focused you are. Organization level पे enough risk matrices are there or not? Because अगर आपने risk identify नहीं की है, तो at some stage it's going to lead into problem. ये important है कि organization is clear about what you're doing. Late stage बोल के early stage risk नहीं ले सकते in that fund. And which is what has happened. That's what happens कि late stage बोलेंगे fund late stage है, but you see that there's no visibility of that company getting listed in the next 7-8 years. So that's another important point which you need to see and at an organization level how they have walked the talk along with their investee companies. Skin in the game. What is organization skin in the game? Is it just you know, a minimum contribution that the organization is doing just to keep that strategy running? Or is the organization actually invested in that particular strategy? So beyond the regular SEBI mandated commitment which needs to be there from the investment manager / sponsor side, what is the kind of money that the organization has committed? I think that's again an important factor to consider when you're evaluating a fund. Strategy, again a very important thing, you know. A lot of strategies may sound very fancy, but it's very important to distinguish between, say, feet on ground versus fancy. So, understanding that, you know, what kind of businesses are these, what kind of founders are we backing? So, these are some of the time-tested strategies which obviously come into picture given the pedigree of the manager and also the pedigree of organization. Last but not the least, you know, you need to have a full life cycle experience when you are investing with a particular manager. So somebody who's done and dusted that, somebody who's raised a fund, deployed it properly, returned the money back to investors, that's a kind of a certificate. And obviously there are enough and more third-party sources. I mean, it's no more the case wherein only AMC would come and talk. There are enough third-party sources which would have reports in form of, say, a benchmarking report which would say where is the fund stacking up in terms of its DPI vis-a-vis the peer funds launched during the same time period. So I think these are some of the parameters which you should look at, maybe evaluate very well before you take the first step towards investing in the unlisted space. On that note, thank you very much for being a very patient audience.
So, I tell you, we will obviously have all the presentations uploaded where you can see and everything. I am also going through all the presentations which the presenters are making. From a practice point of view, probably this is one of the very important presentation that you should follow. And that's the beauty of a brand like Axis. क्या होता है ना? We have been talking about credit. Now, if you understand, both fundamental है, because I believe in fundamental. In equity, it depends upon a fund manager's acumen to identify a good company or a bad company. Simple. But when it comes to credit, it is always a very good opportunity to work with a company like Axis who has a bank, who gives loan. Because when they give loan, they have a complete history of that particular borrower. Because ultimately credit is something where you give money. And when you give money to somebody, the biggest problem of a credit is how you recover that money and how you get those returns. So, obviously, every product manufacturer is good, but again, Aparna, on behalf of Axis, I can tell you that this is one product that you should focus on. Because credit bolo ya unlisted bolo, unlisted ke liye na, you don't have any source of information. There is no public available data. So how do you verify that whether this company is going to be a good company or a bad company? But since you have a bank, where this fund manager can take information about the guy to whom this particular business has been investing, it's at lot of risk. Somebody has asked about what is one flag that I should see. Correct? You asked that, Nilesh bhai, correct? You asked that one flag that tells me how good or bad a particular business is. So probably on the unlisted space, we will have lot of master classes. And Aparna, I would invite Aparna to add more values because Axis is not a standalone fund management company. It has got a bank who gives loan, who gives actual business to loans to companies. So they know if they are giving money to Romit, whether Romit will be able to pay back on time. So if Romit Barat is going to start a company and if the fund manager is decided on me to invest into my company, ho sakta hai fund manager credit guy says that don't give him, he has got a bad credit history. It might happen. So I think, Aparna, your presentations is really insightful. Obviously, all the presentations are equally good. But if you have to learn to become an alternate distributor, I think this is one product you should spend more time. Aparna's team, I'll send you the coordinates. Spend some time and learn the product. It is very important to learn the product. Because when you're going to a client to pitch the product, he is a 1 crore guy. He knows everything. So thank you. Sorry, Aparna, I just wanted to add value to what you were saying.
Thank you so much.
Excuse me, can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
So what was the role of a valuation in terms of private equity? Valuation.
Yeah, so valuation is done by a third party valuation agency, which is done on a 6 monthly basis. So every 6 months there's valuation for the unlisted space, and obviously if you have companies which have got listed in your existing portfolio, and we've seen that happening, so then you have listed market valuations available for those.